July of 2000. We started because of all the rioting going on downtown Kansas City.
2020.
2020. I always say 2000. 2020 we started because of all the rioting going on downtown. They said they were going to come up to suburbia, and we just wanted to get everybody aware of what's going on, try to educate them the best we could with the truth. Not what they're listening to on the TV or on the radio, but the truth. So we had speakers start coming out. We have the president of the Fraternal Order of Police. He's spoken here 3 times. He tells it like it is. He told us that the police were told to stand down during the rioting. And I'm going, what the heck? Anyway. I had lunch with him last week, and I told him, I said, defunding the police makes no sense whatsoever. And of course he agrees with me. So I'm trying my hardest to get the police department to back our candidates, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of success with that. But this gun club, Lake Lotawana Sportsman's Club, has been around since 1955. How many are here for the first time tonight? Okay. How many did not know we were here? We've been around since 1955. We shoot trap out here. We used to have a rifle pistol range. We don't anymore. This hall rents the board agreed to let me have this hall rental for $400 until the end of October. Then it goes up to $600. So I know a lot of you have taken advantage of the sale that we've had for the last year, and I appreciate it. This room holds 300 people, and we have had 300 in here before, trust me, 2 or 3 different times. There is a full kitchen, so anybody that wants to rent it for anniversaries or birthdays or whatever, it's the least expensive hall going. That's my advertisement for here. I had to do that, right? We the people is a group that we had no idea where it was going to go. We had no idea where it was going to take us. We started this group and we winged it. Month after month after month, we just had speakers. We didn't even know the name of it. In fact, I think Jeff came up with the name. I said, "We the people," and he goes, "There's your name right there." So we named it We the People of Jackson County, Missouri. And that kept the name unique. And what we're hoping is there will be a We the People. There is already a We the People of Johnson County, Missouri, down in Warrensburg. They're here tonight. There's We the People. There you are. There's We the People's starting up all over Missouri, which is wonderful. Not just because of us, but we are making a difference. The thing that I thought we could do is we could make some changes in Jackson County.
Yes.
With the local elections, and if we get enough people educated and enough people motivated and enough people telling 20 or 30 or 40 other people to vote in the off-year elections, then we can take Jackson County back. There's no doubt in my mind.
Right. Yeah.
We get the people of Grain Valley, Blue Springs, Lee Summit, Independence to vote. We can outvote KCMO. I guarantee you we can, but we've got to get them out to vote. That's our jobs, right? Okay, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody stand up, take your cap off.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Keep your hat off. We're going to do the Star Spangled Banner.
I'm working on it.
She's working on it. While she's working on it, as y'all are leaving, I got a bowl here for $2 or $3 donation to help us pay the rent here, that would be great. We also have a group called the Book of Business. We decided a year or two ago to start putting people that own businesses in this book of business, and we can help each other out. So if you're looking for an electrician, or you're looking for a plumber, or you're looking for a realtor, whatever the case might be, I printed 50 copies of the book of business up here on the table, so you're more than welcome to take one with you. You ready? Star Spangled Banner, here we go.
Twilight's last gleaming, with cross stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We might have some problems, but it's still the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be on the TV.
That's okay.
Next month.
The song was going a little slower than we were, so we just took over, isn't that right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Garth Brooks. A friend of mine told me over the weekend that he did not like the Garth Brooks song because he went to Garth Brooks to hear Garth sing. Well, Garth starts a song and then he goes like this. And he lets everybody else sing. I said, I liked it. I like that. You know, I thought it was great. But anyway, we have some great speakers. Now I'm gonna let you all know we're a very active audience. We all like to ask questions. Tonight, if you want to ask questions, you have to ask them after the meeting because we have such a big night with a lot of speakers, and I just couldn't say no to these people. They're wonderful people. They've got a great background on what we're doing, whether it's Dr. Gessling or Linda Rance, Christy Cook. We've got great speakers. One is for veterans, one is for the vaccination and her thoughts on that, and the other one is for veterans. So some great things tonight. And I want to introduce Dr. Heather Gessling first as our first speaker. She, and I don't want to steal her thunder in any way, I will butcher it terribly bad, so I'm going to let her tell you her background and why she's doing what she's doing today. But and you know, we're not saying if you got the vaccination, we're not saying shame on you. We're just trying to educate you a little bit better on things. What do you want? Oh yeah, we're gonna have a prayer. Jacob, thank you very much. I always forget something, I'm telling you what. Yeah, here you go. Tom Mance couldn't make it tonight, so I've invited.
I'm standing in for Tom. In the past 19 years, I spent preaching in peculiar places, the inner city, in jails, and in senior care centers. So I'm glad to be here with you tonight to pray and to encourage you in what God's doing, and that God gathered us all here together. So let's pray. Lord, we just thank you. We thank you for gathering us all here together. Some of us are first-time visitors. Some of us have been here before for a long time. But Lord, you knew us, and you know the numbers of our head. The hairs on our head are numbered. You called us here for this exact time to hear what you are saying in this hour, because we are to be involved in the political realm. We are to be involved in business. We're to be involved in families and schools, because we are to be the bright, shining light shining on a hill. So we thank you, Lord, for everyone that's here, every family that's represented, every marriage that is represented, every child and grandchild and great-grandchild, the lineage of our families that are represented here tonight, Lord. We are trusting you for the transformation of this nation, and we are a part of that. Lord, we thank you that you have called us for this exact time, and we thank you, Lord, that you knew exactly what you were doing when you called us so that we can stand strong, just like Esther stood strong. And she knew that you called her for this exact time to keep her people from being killed. That's right. And Lord, we have to stand up in boldness. So we thank you, Lord, that the gifts and the callings that are represented in this room, Chuck said last time at this meeting that he believed that God was doing something powerful with this group. And he is doing something powerful with this group, with we the people, because we are the force, Lord, that you have given us to make change in our government. So we thank you. We thank you for the blood of Jesus that covers all of our houses, all that you've entrusted us with, everything that you've called us to do, Lord. You have equipped us, whether we think that we're qualified or not. You qualified us, and we thank you and we praise you. We give you all the glory in Jesus' name. Amen. Chuck asked me to give an inspirational message just for a few minutes, and I want to remind you just a little caveat here. We have study Bibles, and we have daily devotionals that are on that table. They are free to you if you want one. If you have maybe a friend that wants one, this daily devotional was written 10 years before 9/11. If you look it up on 9/11, it's exactly what you need to hear for that day. That's how good God is. And also look up your birthday. But get one of these for yourself. Get a Bible. Get one for a friend. Take them. They're powerful seeds. I believe in the power of a seed. That's what we did last month when the call was given about the police to be able to have the classes for them. Everyone stood up and started giving and started giving. And that's the power of God, whether it goes in the church. Remember, you are the church. You're the church wherever you go. If you go to We the People, if you go to the grocery store, if you go out, you are bringing the church. You're bringing the Word of God. You're bringing the presence of God into that place. And as we all assemble together, we make change in a very important way. We make change in this nation. We make change in our community. We make change in our families and our businesses and our marriage. And part of that is the power of prayer. How many prayers do I have here? Now more than ever, it is so important that you pray. You know, the Bible says in Philippians 4:6, don't be anxious for anything, but in all things, by prayer and petition with definite requests. Do we have some definite requests? Lord, transform this nation and deliver us from this wicked, tyrannical takeover that we're experiencing. That's a definite request. If you're concerned about it, no matter how small or how big, God is concerned about it, and he wants to hear from you. And he wants to hear from you just like we're talking right here, right now. You talk to him. He is your heavenly Father. He put you on this earth for this exact time to do a great work. If he called you to run for office, if he called you to be in business, whatever he called you to do, if he called you to be a poll watcher, an election judge, if he called you to teach firearm safety to people, he called you. And whatever he called you to do, you can do it in a spirit of excellence. And even if you didn't know how to do it, he will teach you. That's what the Holy Spirit is for. So we need to remember that in these days, I'm on President Trump's National Faith Advisory Board, and we were dismantled for a period of time, but he brought us back all together in September because things are happening. October is going to be a month like we've never experienced before. You're going to see a revealing, you're going to see some shocking things, but know that God is transforming this nation, and you get to be a great part of that.
Yes.
So thank God that he called all of us. I don't know all of you, but the Lord knows all of you. He called you for this exact time because he equipped you, and he knew exactly who was going to be on this earth. So I'm like, Lord said, Christy, is it tough today? I said, it's tough today, but I'm so glad that you called me. So we have an answer because you called all of us together. Like Chuck said, we're changing Jackson County, one seat at a time, one school board at a time, one state rep, one state senator. We've got great candidates, and some of these people, some of you are going to be running in the next 2 years. And the Lord will bring that to your attention. And know that if he's called you to run, doesn't matter what anybody says, it matters that he's called you, and he will give you the plan. Because you're making a difference. You're making a difference on this earth, and we're transforming Jackson County, we're transforming Missouri, we're transforming this nation, and I believe it's going to the world. So I want to encourage you tonight that we have one more thing to encourage you with. Will you hold this? In case some of you didn't know it, but
You got it backwards. You got it backwards. Turn it around. There you go.
Thank you for everything that you're doing. The Lord sees everything that you're doing. The power of a seed is powerful, and it grows up to be a great harvest. So bless you all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Dr. Gessling, I need to apologize. I'm out of order. I've invited the candidates to each talk for 4 minutes, so.
Are we doing that next?
Yeah, we're gonna do that next, and that, because some of them have to leave, and I just wanted to make sure we had the candidates speak for 4 minutes. We do have a timer. Mike right here in the front is going to go like this. And when he goes like this,
Better stop.
so candidates, come on up. You get 4 minutes apiece.
I mean, all these shotguns out here will stop me.
I'm Dan Stacy, a representative of District 31 in Blue Springs, and we were successful this past session to get voluntary affiliation through the legislature and on our election integrity bill. And starting in January 1st, you will be able to designate your party affiliation on your voter record. You'll be able to do it on your voter card, your voter registration card, or in the election authority office, or even at the polling location. I would encourage everyone to update their voter registration, their voter record, and their party affiliation starting January 1. Now, getting into my focus for this legislative session, we still believe that Republicans should be able to select their primary candidates without interference from Democrats or other adverse parties. So we will file the rest of the closed primary piece again this year and work to get it passed. So Missouri will move from our lawless primaries to protecting the freedom of association. We also believe that only U.S. citizens should be allowed to vote. Currently, there's no citizenship designation on our Missouri driver's license, so election authorities have no way to verify citizenship with their government-issued ID. There are currently 63 ways for non-citizens to obtain photo ID driver's license. I will file a bill to make a non-citizen designation on our Missouri driver's license and photo IDs. And I'll continue to advance election integrity ideas. That's what I'm focusing on. So I'd appreciate your help and support for the next few weeks to help me and all of our Republican candidates get reelected or elected for the first time. I have some donation envelopes if you'd like to help. I'd really appreciate that. But on a personal note, many of you know that my wife passed away August 27th. Excuse me, July 28th. Get the date right. I just want to thank you all for your prayers and your notes and your text and the flowers and gifts and words of encouragement and concern that so many of you have sent our way over the last several weeks and months. This group is truly a family, and many of you have reached out to us in various ways, and I really do feel your love and care. Lisa and I were married for almost 39 years. When I say I'm okay, the truth is I'm still working out what it means to not have my better half at my side. Literally, the two became one flesh. And it feels like that now I'm half the man I used to be. But by God's grace, He will see me through this next journey. Lisa gave me 39 wonderful years. She had a 12-year fight with cancer. She lost that battle, but she won the war of life. She was a faithful follower of Christ to the very end. And she's gone on to her eternal reward that I really hope for all of you. Many of you are able to come, able to come to Lisa's celebration of life and going home service, and many of you have said it was a blessing to be there. And for that, I'm glad and I'm grateful. For those of you who couldn't come for whatever reason, and you're interested, you can experience the service at my personal Facebook page. Facebook, just look up Dan Stacy, and it's there. Again, I really thank all of you for your love and concern you've shown me, and I hope someday I can bless you like you blessed me. Thank you.
Sorry, I wasn't pointing.
Am I the only lady up here who's running for something? Come on, give it up for the lady who's running for something. All right, my name is Janelle Houts. I'm running for state representative in District 28, which is Raytown and a little bit of Kansas City on the north side of Raytown. I'm running because God told me to run. And then the other reason I'm running is because I was really frustrated that I never had anybody to vote for. That was, lined up with my own personal values. So I said, I'm putting my name on the ballot. And never planned on running for anything, but I'm obeying God, and we're gonna see what happens. So some of the things I'm standing up for will be medical freedom, education freedom or school choice, freedom of speech, the Second Amendment freedom. So basically freedom is what I'm all about. That's what this country is supposed to be about. Also, I'm for smaller government and lower taxes. I think the government needs to just let us have our money and leave us alone in general, I mean, really. We need to be able to keep more of our hard-earned money in our pockets. So I want to explore getting rid of the property taxes and taxes on groceries. How does that sound? I think that's a good idea. I'm from Michigan originally, so if you hear a little bit of, how I talk. But in Michigan, we don't have taxes on groceries. So when I came here, I was like, what? I have to pay taxes on my groceries? Are you kidding me? So anyway, if they can do it, we can do it, right? I used to be a high school teacher, and so education is near and dear to my heart, and I want to see our kids doing better. The last 2 years have been really rough for them. And they're just not doing really well. I've looked at a couple of websites, and looking at the GPA for a lot of these kids, it's really sad. Like in my school, the average GPA in my district is 0.70. Wow. 0.70 is the average, and we're in the bottom 20 in the whole state. It's awful. So we need to do more to help our kids, to help them succeed, to improve their achievement. We also need to pay our teachers more. Our teachers are, we do. We need to pay our teachers more. We are in the bottom 5 in the whole nation for what we pay our teachers. So we need to pay them more. You're gonna hear Linda Rantz talk. She's one of my good buddies in the election integrity world. And so really pay close attention to her. But I'm with Dan when he talks about the closed primaries. That's what we need. I also want to see us get rid of ERIC. Does anyone know what ERIC stands for? Electronic Registration Information Center, which helps to inflate our voter rolls, which makes it really easy to cheat and to vote, pretend to be somebody and cast a vote in their name. So we need to get rid of that. And we need to get rid of the machines. It's not a real popular thing, but we need to get rid of them. Okay, after going to the Mike Lindell's conference like a month ago, the machines, there's no way to secure them, guys. We need to go back to paper ballots, old-fashioned hand counting, and that's the only way that we can make sure that we're getting real results.
Do it just as fast.
Finally, November 8th, everybody's got to get out to vote. You got to vote in person, you got to vote the day of, and you got to vote late in the day. You remember who was here last month, heard me say that. Vote late in the day, like after 4 o'clock, and just bombard the system so that the bad actors can't tell what's going on. They can't see, how much they need to cheat to win, okay, right? Join the Election Watch project that Linda's gonna talk about tonight. File your incident report, and please volunteer the day of, on the polls. Take the day off work. My husband's taking the day off work. I might talk my son into doing that. We need people standing at the polls, passing out candidate literature. Okay, because that's what the Democrats do. Did you know that? They pay people to stand there and hand out these ballots, and then the people say, who should I vote for? And that's who they vote for, is whoever's on the ballot. I'm done? Okay. So please consider volunteering to pass out literature the day of and help our candidates. Thank you.
Okay, so I almost forgot to come here tonight. I was doing something else, and then a friend of mine that's here called me and said, "Where are you at? Are you going to be over there?" So I wasn't too far away, so here I am. So I'm David Martin. I'm running against Aaron Crosley in Independence, District 29. I was on Pete Mondo's show this morning for a brief period, like he's allowing candidates to call in. So that's what I did. So I'm going to read to you, if you didn't catch it, what I said on his show. So, the policies of Joe Biden and the Democrats are destroying our country. Prices on everything from the groceries and utilities are rising higher every day, and they are pushing divisive political agendas in our children's classrooms with critical race theory and radical gender ideology. It's time we take our country back. Yes. That's why I'm running for House District 29. South Independence needs a representative who will help turn things around, get our economy back on the right track, and give our parents a seat at the table when it comes to their education. I'm running to be that representative and be a voice for the people of my district in the Capitol. And I hope that you guys will support me in my campaign. We have about, 5 weeks till the election. So I need your help. If you know anybody who would like to volunteer, even to knock doors or polls, I intend to pay people if they're willing to get a hold of me, and I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to come up. This is my district, though, District 33, Lake Lotawana. I live in Lone Jack, Chris Sander. I'm running for state representative. Bill's term limited. But I want to remind everybody that if you live in my district, don't help me because I don't need it. I don't have an opponent in the primary or the general. So come with me and knock doors for David Martin, J.C. Crossley, Dan Stacy, Aaron McMullen, Bill Kidd, Lance, Sean Smith, Jeff Coleman. Help get out and knock doors. Jacob Turk in Clay County or Jackson County. Who else did I forget? Teresa McBride. Help all the Republicans win. Yeah, Teresa Casgalvin. Her sign says Casgalvin, but Teresa McBride is somebody on our Jackson County committee, so that's why I thought that. But I'm on the budget committee in the House, and I'd like to stay on the budget committee. We just passed tax cuts in a special session, so we were there for 3-4 weeks, every 2 days a week, back and forth to Jeff City. Normally we're there January till May, so special session's over. We have a month now till election, so contact me and I will help knock doors for everybody else. This afternoon I was with J.C. Crossley and Lee Summit, but I plan to help David Martin either tomorrow or Thursday, so get with me and we'll knock doors. That's the best way to win an election.
Making sure I time myself too, so hopefully you won't have to tell me twice. Hello everyone, my name is Aaron McMullen. I am running for state representative of the 20th district, which is Eastern Independence and then Sugar Creek. It's kind of looks like a giant banana, the district does. But anyways, yeah, so I'm running on the platform that, you know what, Missourians, the Missouri legislature did not cause this record inflation. It was, it was the federal government and the Federal Reserve, reckless spending policies, and the war on COVID, which didn't need to happen. And so, but we sure can do a lot on the state level to counteract that. And the way we do that is, number one, we do more tax cuts. The tax cuts that we did were good, but we need to do more because we need to put more money in the pocket of everyday Missourians to counteract the increasing prices of gas and groceries. That's the only thing we can do. The next thing I think we can really accomplish in Missouri is do tort reform that'll decrease, among other things, the price of insurance for consumers, putting more pocket money into the average Missourians and citizens. The third thing I think we can do is we can also pass school choice. I always believe that the money should follow the child. Greater choices and greater freedom allows greater opportunities. And so when we give parents, like they're doing right now in Arizona, I think that's going to be a great case study for what we can do here in Missouri, is they give each parent $9,000 for every kid. And how they spend that money on their children is how they see fit. And I think that we can do that here, and that will give greater economic opportunities for everyone and allow greater choices, whether it be charter schools, whether it be public schools, or whether it be private schools. At least you have the choice to send your kids where you want, and not allow them to be radically indoctrinated in the public schools. I personally, I'm a homeschooling dad. I do that, and so I have a vested interest in this as well, because that $9,000 could go towards tuition that I have to pay out of pocket, which I also pay for the taxes too, that I don't get anything out of. So whether you even choose that, I believe that is absolutely paramount to the future of our kids, because this radical postmodernist thinking that is indoctrinated. First, it went through the colleges, and then the college students bring it to the grade schools and to the high schools. And so, in order for us to combat that, we need greater choice and greater economic opportunity. So, my name's Aaron McMullen. I'm running for the 20th district, which is in this part of Eastern Jackson County, just north part. Sugar Creek and Independence, and thank you so much for your time.
I'll talk just a moment before we unleash our two at-large candidates over here and Mr. Jacob Turk. My name is Mark Anthony Jones, and I'm the chairman of the Jackson County Republican Committee, the Jackson County Republican Party. And we've launched, I became chairman August the 16th, and I've actually this is my 57th appointment since being elected chairman. So we're off and running at full tilt. And one of the things we're doing from our committee base is following up on what Ryan Dirks from this area of our county started here in Lee Summit, Green Valley, Oak Grove, with Build Our Bench. And also, Heather Hall started it in Clay County about the same time, I guess, as what Ryan Dirks was doing it out here. So we're going to pull this off in Jackson County. Our goal is to field a candidate for every municipal election in the spring in our county, as well as every school board race in our county. We want to fundamentally change Jackson County by putting conservatives back into our schools and our into our municipal cities, right? So we're going to do that, and we're off and running on that. And if you're running for office or have an interest, or some little voice in the back of your head from somewhere out here says you should do this, please listen and get in touch with somebody on our county committee. You can get in touch with me. I've got a few cards over here. You can also find me on Facebook. You can pretty much find anybody on our committee and say, who do I talk to about what it takes to run for office? Because we have the answers to that, and we can help you to put together a campaign, or help you at least make the decision yes or no, and then get to helping you on your campaign. Another thing that we're going to do is this election for this fall, November the 8th, isn't it really important that we win this election? Right? And you're going to hear a couple more candidates, two at-large candidates for Jackson County Legislature. And Jackson County Legislature is a huge deal. if we want to stay in our homes, we better be paying attention to what's happening at the legislature, because next year, the rates for our taxes might go up to the point that we cannot afford to live in that home. Think about what $200 to $300 a month on taxes would mean to your budget if your property taxes went up $200 to $300 per month. So, we're going to do something that we've never done before. We had a little bit of a test run in the primary. We're going to put out a voter guide. And we're going to get the voter guide to every polling place in the county that has a high enough traffic that we think we better be there. Have you seen voter guides at your polling places? If you live in the city or in the western part of the county, you've seen Freedom Inc. has a voter guide at every polling place in the city. Another one is La Raza. And you know what these people believe? They're not of our philosophy. So we better have an answer to that. Now, what does that cost? We have 35 highly trafficked polling locations in Kansas City and 64 in Johnson County. That's not all of the polling places. There's 104 polling places in November the 8th in Jackson County and 67 in Kansas City. But we've narrowed them down to at least we need to cover 35 in Kansas City and 64 in eastern Jackson County. That's 198 people with only 2 shifts a day that we need to have someone out front handing out a voter card that has the list of all the Republican candidates on it. Now, this cannot come because it has more than one candidate on it, and obviously it has a lot of candidates. It cannot come from the Jackson County Republican Committee. It has to come from a PAC. What does it cost to do something like this? Well, if you're printing 50,000 for Kansas City and 80,000 for Jackson County, it costs $16,000. So we're going to pass around over here. I'm going to give you a few. There's a couple different things. This is over here on the table. There's quite a few of them. This is how you donate. There's an email address on there if you don't get on this, but this is coming around. This is to sign up to hand out the PAC pieces at the polls. So I'm going to start this and pass it around all the way through, and at the end, hopefully we can get this back to either me or Wendy Winpigler, and we're collecting the data so that we can make sure we have all of these polling locations staffed and ready to go. So, is there a printer in the room? Do we know a Republican printer who maybe get us a better price than that $16,000? Anyone? If anyone knows someone, please let me know. You have a printer? Okay, we'll get other prices, but this is my first price, $16,000, and I know Nola has one and Jacob has one. We'll make sure that happens. All right, so on the table, there's some of my cards, and there are some of these, and I'm going to pass around for you to sign up to actually go to the polls and help us distribute these voter guides that we're going to have made up. Thank you. I'm introducing Lance for at-large District 3.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for that opening. You kind of led the path for what I'm going to talk about a little bit. Good job. My friends have passed around some of these flyers. They're will maybe help you follow along a little bit better. This is getting really complicated, what they've done to us in Jackson County. Bear with me because I'm going to get to the point. First, we're going to talk about 2 companies that own most of the world and how they affect the home ownership in Jackson County. The Conservative Business Journal refers to them as the 2-headed thing that ate America. BlackRock and Vanguard, 2 mega companies, privately owned corporations that possess the lion's share of the world's wealthiest companies. Bloomberg has labeled BlackRock the 4th branch of our government as they control the Federal Reserve by loaning them money and buying their bonds. They are the largest shareholders of the world's largest company. They own just about everything. A few of their ownerships are Coca-Cola. BlackRock and Vanguard own more shares than Warren Buffett of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Apple, Microsoft, the world's largest banks, including Citibank, JP Morgan, Chase, Bank of America, manufacturing plants, including Tesla and Boeing, entertainment, Comcast, Disney, Sony, Columbia, 20th Century Fox,
Warner Brothers, Exxon, Chevron, coal, natural gas, oil, nuclear energy, and green energy. They own Facebook and Twitter. They own our food companies. BlackRock and Vanguard are the largest shareholders of Big Pharma. Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Google this. It's all public information. That's how I found it. Anybody in here can find this. It's fact. It's fact. It's real. Vanguard and BlackRock not only own the vaccines, but they control the press. They own CNN, everything from CNN to Fox News. They control what you read and what you think. Now to my point, Jackson County has hired a company called Tyler Technology and is paying them almost $18 million for the service of raising our taxes, including a complete reassessment for 2023 and a parcel by parcel visit by the Assessor's Department to all, I believe, 290,000 parcels in Jackson County. The two largest shareholders of Tyler Technologies are, you guessed it, BlackRock and Vanguard. Both companies have poured billions of dollars into purchasing entire neighborhoods across the country and apartment buildings you see going up in all of our cities. They have spun off billion-dollar companies such as Invitation Homes, a residential leasing company that buys single-family homes across the country and will lease them to homeowners that can no longer afford to own. Last spring, through institutional purchases, home values skyrocketed. That was planned. Now the interest rates have skyrocketed because they own the Federal Reserve and bond markets. That was planned. Now because they drove up prices of homes and are in control of our property assessments, what do you think the next step is? Our Jackson County Assessment Department is now controlled by, as the Conservative Business Journal refers to them as, the two-headed thing that ate America. They control our medicines, healthcare, bank accounts, food supply, news, and now they want to control our homes. We have been trying to get the word out before it's too late through town hall meetings, media interviews, a wonderful social platform that my team has set up. But Sunday, since BlackRock and Vanguard own Facebook, I was told they put the hammer on us. So I'm asking everyone to spread the word, tell everyone, show them these flyers. The way to stop this from happening is to vote out the corrupt party that's controlled Jackson County for over 50 years. We need total change. I do pray to God that we can stop them from taking away our home ownership. If you are interested in coming to a town hall meeting about this, leave your name, phone number. If you don't believe me, Google and research BlackRock, Vanguard, Tyler Technologies, and companies like Invitation Homes. This is real and it's here. Thank you very much. And I am Lance Dillon, running for the Jackson County Legislature.
Thank you, Lance, for that uplifting news. I'm Bill Kidd, the current state rep, District 20. With Aaron McMullen's the guy you vote for down District 20. I'm running for Jackson County at large, District 1, against an AOC liberal named Jalen Anderson. So, before I get to talk about that, I'm going to look at, there's some ballot initiatives you need to know about that are coming up on the ballot this November. The first ballot initiative is Amendment 1. Vote no on Amendment 1. It allows the legislature to override, so if they want to go and invest money in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and you say no, the legislature can say, no, we don't care about that, we're going to do it anyway. So it's a bad deal. Vote no on Amendment 1. Amendment 3, the marijuana deal. Even the marijuana people don't like this one because it was by initiative petition, and it's written for specific companies and for specific people to make money off of this. Vote no on marijuana. This is not your, hey, let's all go out and smoke a joint deal. This is a money-making thing, and it's all controlled by specific companies. So vote no on that one. Amendment 4, for those of you who don't like Kansas City and what they did with the reduction of the police department funds. Amendment 4, we made them put this back. So Amendment 4 is us as the legislators being mad at Kansas City and saying, no, you can't defund your police. So Amendment 4 makes them fund that money back, okay? Vote yes on 4. Amendment 5, right now the National Guard is under the Department of Public Safety. It reports to the governor, but also to DPS, and so there's a whole bureaucratic overhead that happens to them. This sets up a new cabinet post that says, no, the National Guard's going to stand alone on their own cabinet, so they'll report directly to the governor. Vote yes on that one. I've spoken with the Adjutant General on that many times, and that is an infinite plus. We'll vote yes on Amendment 5. Okay, I got 2 minutes. All right, let's talk about Jackson County for a second. How many of you like donkey pox? That's what you got in Jackson County. Yeah, you got donkey pox. It's spreading. It's everywhere. Okay. We have smallpox. You have, COVID. You have monkeypox. But we have a bad disease called donkey pox in Jackson County. Donkey pox has been spreading around Jackson County for over 60 years. So, if you like donkey pox and you want your taxes to go up and you want to continue to do that, just go ahead and keep voting Democrat. It's that serious. It is a disease. I'm very glad Joe Biden was elected this last time.
Yeah.
Think about that.
No.
Why should I be glad Joe Biden was elected?
Shows us who the Democrats are.
How many of you woke up when Joe Biden got elected and you started realizing that Crazy Joe was in office now? And all the things that they now are doing behind the scenes. Okay? That was a good thing. I know it's bad in the long run, but it woke us up. You want your school boards back? Take them back. You want your Cascade County legislature? Take them back. You got to show up. You got to vote. You got to get people. The Democrats take somebody to the polls. Go get somebody and take them to the polls.
Yeah.
Work the polls. You can't come here and complain and not do something about it.
Yeah.
We've done that for the last 60 years. That's why we have donkey pox in Jackson County. Because we sat on our butt for 60 years and did nothing. So what I'm asking you to do is, if you're mad enough about it, do something. Be a poll watcher. Contribute to the funding that we need to pass out all these voter guides on. Do something. Tell your neighbor. Put up a sign. I've got signs. Everybody's got signs over here. Vote for Jacob Turk. Vote for everybody in here. We want to stamp out donkey pox.
Yes.
And the only way you get inoculated against it is you show up and vote them out of office.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
All right. You want to take a vaccine? You want to have a vaccine?
No.
Vote no on donkey pox. I'm Bill Kidd, running for Jackson County District 1 at large. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Sean Smith. I'm running for Jackson County Legislature, similar to Bill and similar to Lance, only they're running at large. They have to have votes from the majority of everybody in the county. I've got it a little easier. You're in my geographic district, meaning I only need votes from the 1/6 of Jackson County that is here in the southeast corner. So I'm not going to say that's easy. I will say that I feel probably great about my race, and therefore I'm going to talk a little bit, instead of Crazy Joe, I'm going to talk about Feeble Frank. How many people have watched a Jackson County legislator meeting? Few of you, but not most of you. What's fascinating is that Frank doesn't really say anything. Today, his report was, I don't have anything to report except I went to Washington, D.C., where they put a statue of Truman up. And his manager and his staff proceed to respond to any questions that the legislature might have. Let me give you examples about what they talked about today. They're trying for a second time to put on the ballot, which has already been printed. It's been scrolling back here. You can get your sample ballot already. They're trying to say, how about we put abortion on the ballot? For Jackson County, it would be non-binding, but we could, express the citizens' concern about the current law. They want to do that for political reasons only, to try to turn out people who are concerned about that without telling them that it means nothing. Other interesting thing that happened today, Frank didn't know until they told him that if you take a drug test because you want to work for the county and you don't pass because you happen to have cannabis in your system, they don't pay any attention to that. Now, maybe that's okay, maybe it's not, because you might have a medical card, but the bottom line is that, except for people with a medical card here in Missouri, you've broken the law. And the county executive and his staff have decided, whatever, that's okay. So I guess what I see is that we really need to replace Frank. Teresa, who is our current Jackson County legislature in District 6, said to me, Sean, if you will run for my seat, I will run against Frank. Teresa will be an actual leader that will actually drive policy and make sure that the county thrives and does well, rather than what is essentially our own little deep state that lives and breathes in the county seat. So for sure vote for Teresa, for sure vote for Bill, for sure vote for Lance. John Murphy's not here. The magical thing is there's 9 people on the legislature plus 1 executive. You get to vote for half of them, okay? So this is not something you can't control. You have a lot of control, and as Bill said, you gotta get people out there that understand. Going back to the cannabis thing, had this fascinating little conversation with my daughter who's 21, and she said, well, obviously I'm gonna vote for that because we wanna legalize weed, right? And I'm like, no. Do you understand that it's basically corporate, out-of-state, big money who has put that piece of legislation in here? And oh, by the way, making it a constitutional amendment that it will be legal, but that only they can sell it, and that even in small quantities, people can be punished and put in jail for it. When I said that to my daughter, she's like, why would they put that in there? I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe they want your money. And she doesn't smoke, by the way, just for the record. But maybe they want all the money, and they don't want to have, you know, Johnny, who sells 3 ounces at a time to make his 20 bucks. They don't want him to have any of that. So understand that the legislation is extremely manipulative, but if you look into it a little bit, it's actually relatively easy to even explain to people who would like to see legalization. I'm not there personally, but that's a great, just like start a conversation and educate people, and we will prevail. And I'm confident we will. Again, Sean Smith, Jackson County Legislature. I don't remember who's got the timer, and I didn't see anybody's hands, but thank you all very much. Have a great night.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Chuck, for the extra 2 minutes. I appreciate it. I always get this cut, the thing that they pull you off the stage. Jeff Coleman, as many of you know, I'm going to say real quickly the tax issue that I've been trying to warn you people about for the last 3 years. I need your help is here, and we didn't get it across the board, and now we're going to have to deal with it unless we get these people elected. If we get them elected, then there's a chance that we might not get these higher assessment values and that you might not have to pay these higher taxes. But it's on you to get this done, because if you don't, some of you might lose your home. So it's that important. So we've got to, this is dire stuff right now. We tried to get it handled down at the Capitol. They didn't understand how important this was down there. I couldn't get the support, and now here we are. So now we got to really work hard. Get your neighbors out, get your family out, and vote for these legislators. Vote for Teresa, because I know that I've had discussions with them. They will work with me to get this to where it doesn't go across the board. So we got to have your help. It's very, very important. Now, real quickly, will the ladies from High Noon stand up for me? Thank you. I want everybody to know how important these ladies are for me and how much they have helped me in all of my campaign stuff. I had an event last week that if it weren't for them, I would not have had the success that I had, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you very much. And guess what? I'm done.
Hey Chuck, how much time do I got?
4 minutes, buddy.
Really?
Yeah.
Here's $5. Is that an extra minute?
No, 4 minutes.
My name's Jacob Turk. I'm running to be your congressman from the 5th District of Missouri. Current incumbent's Emmanuel Cleaver. I'll get... Nice. I like these people, Chuck. Thanks for inviting them. We have a tremendous opportunity, and I always find Bill so entertaining. I love it when he speaks. He just makes me happy, and I hope he made you guys happy.
But he's right. Joe Biden's given us a tremendous opportunity. Unfortunately, it's because of all the pain that's being caused. The food price is going up 12%. Gasoline's still 70% up. We have 5 million people that have poured across the border. Fentanyl is just on the streets of America. We've got parents that are being investigated by the FBI because they spoke up at a school board meeting. The Department of Justice is completely politicized. It goes on and on and on, and Americans are alarmed. They're alarmed everywhere. Just before this, I zipped back from a meeting down at 31st and Paseo, and folks in the urban core are worried about a lot of the same things that we are worried about. And they're worried about this property tax going up 40%, and I just love the fact that we have such great candidates running at large in the county and for county executive that are really spreading that word, and they're working hard. And I'll put in a plug for John Murphy. John's a personal friend of mine, known him for over 20 years. My wife, Donna, and his wife, Kelly, have known each other even longer. John is working. He's working Brookside. I'm so glad there's a Republican down there working Brookside. That is awesome. He's going door to door and tell them, and I can tell you, if you don't know John, John will go around with anybody. He's a big Irishman, and when those liberals start speaking up and expecting that he's just going to listen, he's like, oh, no, 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 no. That's not the way it is. And he said he made one guy almost cry. He actually put his hands over his ears and went back in his house. So good for John. So whether you work for me, you work for one of them, it raises all boats. And to get to specifics, I put out an email, some of you might have seen it, and on Facebook, that I'm worried because there's an opportunity to be a Emmanuel Cleaver because of the way the political environment is. He's doing things he's never done before. He finally put up a billboard. He's never put up a billboard before on I-70 or anywhere for that matter. He kind of keeps it low, but his polls must be showing him what I know from the atmosphere. He's in trouble. He's in deep trouble. He cannot turn out his folks. That means if we can turn out our folks, it's over for him. And we finally have new leadership in the 5th District. So, not to put... So I put out an email and I said, fundraising is just not where it needs to be. We don't need anywhere near as much as him. We've learned to run on very little money and make a big difference. But we need more fundraising. I put out that warning, and so many of you responded. There's people in this room responded. Thank you. Went online, sent in the money, and in about 24 hours, we raised $8,000. And that's a big deal for us. So thank you.
Yeah.
So I now have Jennifer and Christy. Would you guys stand up? All right. This is Jennifer and Christy. They have some lovely envelopes that you probably want. Please raise your hand if you will take a contribution envelope and prayerfully consider giving some money. I better see some hands going up or I'll just have to go home. All right, thank you very much. There's there. Please get those out. Keep them up. And just remember, it doesn't have to be a lot. For our campaign, you give $20. If you're in this room, you can't give $20, God bless you, you got bigger problems than I do. But if you can, that's the only way I'm gonna make it. Ours is a small donor campaign, it always has been. So all you have to give is something. So please do that. All right, and then the second thing is, and you can make notes on your smartphone or you can download this right now. We found an app called Swipe Red that allows you to converse with the campaign and allows us as a campaign to speak through you to your friends and your family. Doesn't harvest your information, that was very important to me, but I need you to download it and start using it. We have people that can train you. It's very easy to use. You just download, it's called Swipe Red, SWIPERED. They only sell to conservatives. They're a small company out of Minnesota that started about 2 years ago. We're the biggest campaign they've ever had. But that's because my consultant James and I know if you will use this and you will reach out to people, you can level the playing field for us against Cleaver's money. So Swipe Red, just go there, go to your app store on your iPhone or your Android. How many people have a smartphone here? Raise your hand. Well, I better see every hand go up. Okay. So I need you to do that. We can win. We are a people-powered campaign. We always have been. We've always been a bottom-up instead of top-down. And I think Chuck's coming around the table. I'm going to walk this way. Is he following me?
I'm just going to give some money.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, here, you can talk then.
Yeah, you're kind of tough. Hey, Jacob's going to be a great candidate. We got to get Emmanuel Cleaver out of here. No doubt. It's 8 o'clock. We got 3 more speakers. I'm stressing out that we're not going to be done by 9. So, quick. Thank you.
Okay, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to talk with you guys tonight. I am a parent, a wife, mom in the Lee Summit School District, and I, last December, spoke for my first time before the school board in Lee Summit about a book that they were looking over. It had parents had said, hey, we need this book out of here, and so the school board had to go over it. Anyway, that was my first time. I've spoken every month since, well, minus 2 months since then. Anyway, so I have lived in Lee Summit most of my life, except for a decade when my husband was in the Navy. But my family has been here since I was 2 years old, so nearly 40 years. And I grew up in Lee Summit. This is my school district. And I've always been proud of it. It's always been growing, always been an award-winning school district. They still say it everywhere. But what people don't know is what's going on behind the scenes. They don't understand. I have 4 children. I've had at least 1 in the district for the last 10 years. And when the kids went back to school in January and they were allowed to not have masks, and 4 days later we were told they had to put them back on. My husband and I had decided in December before winter break, if they put masks back on our kids, we are pulling our kids from the district. So we did. By February, we had them all in Missouri Virtual Academy. They finished out. I have a now 10th grader, a 6th grader, and 2 5th graders. And they finished out with Missouri Virtual last year, and then in August of this year, we officially withdrew them from the school district. This is all because, let me tell you why. Not just because of a book. It's because I started going to school board meetings last fall, in August of last year. And in November, when they were talking about masks, whether to keep them on and such, and they were talking about equity. They were doing the first read through of the equity policy. And just listening to them discuss the topics. They didn't even know how to define equity for sure. Are we using the same definition as DESE? Where did we get our definition? You'd be kind of surprised to find out they got their definition from a website called the Equity Project. I dare you to look it up. You'll be disgusted. You will be disgusted. Anyway, so I started digging in, and the more I dug, the more I learned. Panorama surveys are not anonymous. They use the data. They create psychological profiles, basically, in a student record for each of our students on a platform that Panorama provides. Panorama has complete access to student records. They know your child's name. They know their grades, their teachers, their schedules. They know any disciplinary actions on them. They know if they miss school on certain days. They know this. And all of this information is stored on servers owned by Amazon Web Service in Virginia. So this is our school district now. Anyway, I decided earlier this year to read the book. I didn't bring it up here. The book that our district is using for professional development training. And that book, sadly, inspired me. Actually, I guess I should be grateful. Inspired me to write a book. So I have a book coming out November 1st called Deep End of Public Education. It discusses everything from Panorama, from equity consultants, the cost of this equity stuff in our district, which is not surprisingly well over $1 million. Close to $2 million if you add in the salary of the new equity administrator in our district, if you add in the cost of the substitutes we use to cover the teachers while they're in the equity training, the cost of the meals for the training, all of this. Our board, 5-2, thankfully Heather and Jennifer did not vote for this, just decided to renew the contract with our latest equity consultant for another $64,600. That puts us at about $1.13 million just on equity consultants. Think of how many $64,000 teachers, that's the teacher salary in our district. Think of how many teachers we could be adding to our district and bridging that equity gap. Anyway, I'll leave you be, that was my 4 minutes, but I've got business cards up here with all the social stuff I'm on. I'm on Facebook. I've got a podcast now. The book comes out in November. Please help me out. Grab a thing. The QR code on the back, you can scan it. It goes to the Facebook page right now, but on November 1st, it will go to my listing on Amazon.com. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Kristen is awesome. There's no doubt about it. Thank you for speaking. Finally.
For real?
Finally, for real. You all, we've got 3 speakers. They get 15 minutes apiece. We're gonna, if you have questions, it'll be at the end of it, and we'll try to get done by 9 o'clock. Dr. Gessling, thank you so much for being here.
And your patience.
My son is a cross-country runner, so he talks about his false starts and how they mess with him. But anyway, he actually thinks they're kind of fun. So I am Dr. Heather Gessling. I'm a family medicine physician. I practice in Columbia, and I have a practice in Macon. And I've been a family medicine physician for 12 years. And the reason I'm here today is because I've been fighting for medical freedom. And I have been fighting for medical freedom since I was in residency, back when it wasn't even cool. And I didn't even know really what I was doing, but it made it easy for me to see what was happening in March of 2020, whenever I realized how hydroxychloroquine worked and then saw that they attacked it. And I knew what I was up against. And so once I realized how easy it was to treat COVID, honestly, it is not hard if you get it early, and how important nutrients were and what the media was doing to attack that, I made it my mission to save my patients. And up through July of 2021, I hadn't lost a single patient to COVID, and I treated thousands. And I knew that there was something very, very wrong with the vaccine. And I was the chief of staff in my hospital in Moberly, and I had been stating my posted concerns about the vaccine. I had posted concerns about why I didn't think it was really a great thing to do. And so I was asked to step down as chief of staff by the CEO, and he said, we just can't be having that. So I left that practice. I also had a practice in Columbia that I didn't feel like was a great fit. And so I actually left both practices on the same day. I was terminated by one, and I voluntarily left the other. I'd already given my 90-day notice. God has a really good sense of humor. He had actually told me in May of 2021 that I would be leaving both practices and starting a direct primary care practice. And I said, what? There is no way. I mean, these practices were huge, and I had no idea how he was going to do it. But he worked it all out. I started a direct primary care practice in September of last year, and God has been amazing and really blessed that practice. And actually, I have some patients here. I met them at the We the People, was it of Livingston? Was it? Okay, Livingston County, back last fall. And that was a great group just like this. And so anyway, where I'm at now, I feel like I'm a little disorganized because I'm trying to be so fast. But where I'm at now is that, well, first, as of last fall, through May of this year, I was part of the Global COVID Summit, doing educational summits with Dr. Cole, Dr. Malone, Dr. Urso, Dr. Tyson, Dr. Pierre Corey. But I left that and went and helped build a company called The Wellness Company. And we launched last month, and it is an amazing company. I feel like I'm like ringing. It's an amazing company, and I sit on the chief medical board with Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Harvey Risch, and Dr. Richard Ammerling. And the components of this company are telehealth, where you can see a physician that is going to provide you with unbiased care. And so part of medical freedom is getting the care that you deserve, where the physician-patient relationship is not affected by governmental agencies, big pharma, and yeah, exactly. Big pharma is evil. They are so evil. So all of the pharmaceuticals that you're on are probably actually hurting your health. And that's part of what the wellness company is going to do, is help you get off the pharmaceuticals, help you restore your health, your wellness, and reverse, deprescribe from those medications. And we also believe that the truth about the vaccines is not just so much about why they're so potentially harmful, well, not potentially, I mean, they really are, but it's about your freedom to choose whether or not you want that vaccine, what your risk is, and what your assessment is based off of that, and what you want to do, and you should be able to make a decision, your own personal decision. You should not be coerced. You should not have to do that in order to maintain your job, your family relationships, all of that. And so what we do at the Wellness Company, you can find us at twc.health, is fight for that. We want you to be able to see a physician that is not coerced by these corporations. We want you to be able to get pharmaceuticals from independent pharmacies that are not getting paid to substitute certain medicines and push you down a certain line of pharmaceutical treatment. We want you to be able to get medicine from pharmacies that you need, such as the ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine when you need it. We want you to be able to get education that's unbiased, and we also want you to be able to have access to really good nutraceuticals. So we have multiple nutraceutical lines that have been developed by our chief medical team for specific conditions. I developed one for diabetes, and those are going to be available next month. So the other thing that we've been doing is we wrote a book called The Next Wave is Brave. I co-author with Dr. McCullough, Dr. Risch, Dr. Amerling, Dr. Jen Vandewater, and Dr. Janice Schmidt. And so because I have so much to say that I don't have enough time to say, you should buy the book. You can get it on Amazon right now for $1 ebook, and also it's available in paperback. You can get it hardcover through Skyhorse Publishing. I think that's the only place that you can get the hardcover. So, oh yes, The Next Wave is Brave. This is what it looks like. I think it's beautiful. And the company's website is twc.health. If you want to see me as a patient and you live in Missouri, I can see you through telehealth, and my website is Gessling Family Wellness. I'm taking a few more patients. We are probably going to be starting a waiting list soon because I have a lot going on. And any other questions? I know who he is, but we're not. I mean, he's fighting for medical freedom too.
Yeah, he was at a big conference they were all at.
Yeah, the one in Kansas City with Dr. Corey, Dr. Littell. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I'd like to just on like choice of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
What we take. There was just some things in the news about guys on death, someone being executed. They got to choose the drug. Yo, we don't get to choose.
We don't even get to choose. Yeah, exactly. You know, Big Pharma, so a lot of the research that has been out for the last several decades, it's all corrupt. They find the drugs, and then they develop the studies, and then they develop the condition to fit the drugs.
Yeah.
For Alzheimer's, for cholesterol, statins, the SSRIs, the antidepressants, it's all corrupt. So, anyway, all right. My site, GesslingFamilyWellness.com. Yeah. Wow. All right. Thanks, guys. It was fun.
I wish we would have had her speak 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Awesome job. I was telling a friend of mine over the weekend, and I'll use my mom as an example. She was taking like 29 pills a day, and she was like a zombie. She just had no life, no personality, just sit there. And I told my sister, I said, take mom to the doctor, take every one of her prescriptions with you, and go to one doctor. That doctor took her off like she was taking like six pills then. She got her personality back. She got her whole everything back. And they are over-medicated. America is over-medicated. Big pharmacy is bad. There's no doubt about it. And thank you so much for coming and talking. I'm sorry I didn't give you 2 hours. We could have used
Take it
that.
another time.
I know, we will. Next time you'll be the only speaker. How's that sound? Who's our next speaker? I got, who are you?
Don't send me back.
I've got 3 names down here. You are Christy Cook. Christy Cook is with Warriors Accent.
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 Yes. We don't have an accent.
Accent.
Hi. Thank you for inviting us tonight. I met Christy Nichols at the Republican Women of Kansas City, and she suggested that I reach out to Chuck in an opportunity to introduce us to Kansas City and beyond, so everybody knows who we are. We were started in 2014 by 2 veterans. They were struggling. They went to a 5-day holistic healing retreat in California, and they came back and they said, wait, we need this in Missouri. So they started, they had their first retreat in 2015. We've since helped over 500 veterans and first responders. What it looks like on Monday, they come, they walk in the door, they're grumpy. There's 2 schools of thought. One is, I don't deserve to be here. I'm around some real American badasses, and I haven't seen what they've seen, but I'm truly struggling. And the other school of thought is, there's no way that anybody in this room is as screwed up as I am. And there's no way that this is actually gonna help. But this is my last opportunity before I decide that I don't wanna be here anymore. So, they come to us on Monday. Monday's awful for them. And I'm kind of the cheerleader. I'm the operations director, and I welcome them with a big smile and lots of hugs and lots of reassurance that God put them there for a purpose, and they're exactly where they're meant to be at this moment in time. Right?
And we don't like Christy on day 1.
Yeah, it's not very welcome, but I keep it up. Our program is free for all veterans and first responders. We will fly veterans in from anywhere across the country. We work with Mercy Medical Angels, and so there's no flight cost to them. Like I said, we've helped over 500 veterans. We've had this year more often than ever. On Friday at graduation, people say this was my last stop. If this didn't work, I wasn't going home. I'm glad that we don't hear that on Monday because that's a lot of pressure. So we have mindfulness, meditation, healthy eating, healthy sleep hygiene. It's all holistic in nature, and one of the biggest components is the community aspect. Recognizing that they're not alone, that there are other brothers and sisters and American heroes that have worked really hard to protect our communities and to protect our country, and that we've got their back. And now they have each other in a very different format than what it was when they were serving. What our goal right now is we're really trying to reach currently serving American heroes, because we don't want them to have to give up their career because they can't do their jobs anymore. We want them to come to us when they're starting to struggle so that we can teach them the healing practices that they need to put one foot in front of the other and to wake up every day and understand that they have a purpose and that they have this community that's behind them and supporting them. So I have a real American hero with me today that I would like to introduce. This is Penny Cole. She was raised in North Carolina and met her husband, Marshall, who's back here. He was stationed at Fort Bragg, and they married in 1994. Penny and Marshall have 3 children who are all grown now. The oldest is getting married
Saturday.
this weekend, yes. Penny started her career with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office in 2004. She has now served over 11 years as a special victims investigator, been promoted to sergeant, and is now the sergeant over the unit. Her husband is also a sworn deputy and is the training unit sergeant. Penny came to Warriors Ascent in 2021 after many years of working special victims investigations took a huge toll on her mental health. She was unable to stop constantly thinking about her cases.
She felt that she was responsible for the well-being of each survivor, and it affected her relationship with her husband and children, leaving her unable to show any emotion and becoming increasingly distant. During her week at Warriors Ascent, Penny began to find herself again, and her smile. I didn't know until Wednesday that her eyes were blue. She said that she could actually see the physical change in her appearance. She had a smile and a light in her eyes that had not been there for almost 10 years. Had it not been for her week with Warriors Ascent, Penny does not believe that she would have been able to continue in law enforcement or to find the determination to begin to heal from the years of being exposed to trauma through her employment. It's my honor to introduce to you a true American hero and warrior, Sergeant Penny Cole.
So I was told that I have to make this short, and if I make this squeak, let me know, because I don't have a very cobbly voice. If you'd asked me 2 years ago who I was, I would have told you I'm a deputy. I work sex crimes. I work homicides. When I left Warriors Ascent, that's not who I am. That's what I do. I'm a wife. I have 3 beautiful children. I have a farm. I ride horses. My husband let me buy cows. And I am 6 years away from retirement. But I didn't think I was going to make it 6 years. When I went to Warriors, it was the last straw. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to be married. I didn't want my kids. I didn't want anything. I wanted to go away. And I didn't care how. Somebody paid for me to go. Day 1 was horrible. I hated Christy with a passion. Day 2, I blacked out. I don't remember day 2 at all. And what set me off was forgiveness. Amen. And the hardest thing is I had to forgive me. Mm-hmm. That's very hard for us in this career, because I can tell you, I get to patrol out where you guys live, and I'm responsible for every single one of you and your children. And when you come to me and I hear the stories that I hear and I see the photographs that I see, I take it personally. I had to learn to forgive myself. I know at least 3 times my husband said he was done because he didn't know who I was anymore. If it hadn't been for Warriors Ascent, I wouldn't be here. I definitely would not be back working the cases that I work. Law enforcement in general, most of us don't get into this because we want to drive fast. It's a benefit. Or because we want to go out and shoot our guns, or because we want to throw people around. Most of us genuinely care about people. I happen to care about kids. I don't like my own sometimes, but I care about children. And I can tell you that I have seen things and heard things that no one here will ever see, ever, and you don't want to. But the skills that I learned at Warriors, I'm able to cope with it. The trauma doesn't go away, it's still there. And anyone who tells you they're in law enforcement and they do not have trauma is wrong. They just can't admit it. But Christy and Warriors did a great job. I can tell you Friday when I came home, my face hurt. I don't think I'd ever smiled that much. My husband kept asking me on the way home, "What's wrong with you?" Kind of like I had stepped over the edge to somewhere I wasn't going to come back. If you know someone who's in law enforcement, if you know someone who has military service, I cannot recommend it enough. And I will tell you, I'm not a yoga person at all. I don't eat healthy. But today, when I was in actually Costco, picking up the end of the wedding cake, I had a panic attack. I was able to remember what Warriors had taught me, something as simple as a wedding. I and I worked through it. 2 years ago, I'd have left the store and gone home. So if you know someone that can use it, send the offer out to them. Whoever paid my way to go, I will never know who they are. But somebody thought that my life was worth sending me there, and I appreciate it. So, did I keep it down to time?
Great.
I did also.
So the reason that Chuck let us squeeze in tonight is we have our one annual fundraiser coming up on Veterans Day. It's at Arrowhead Stadium this year. If you're interested in joining us, we'd love for you to come out. On our website, warriorsascent.org, you can see the ticket information for sponsorships. Mike Garrett, who's a Heisman Trophy winner and part of the first Chiefs Super Bowl team, is going to be our keynote speaker. It's a super, super fun evening. Penny will be there. Lots of Warriors Ascent alumni will be there to offer their thanks for the support from the community, so we can continue to offer this service free for veterans and first responders. I will be in the back by Christy Nichols. If you have any questions at the end, I'd be happy to talk with you more. I appreciate your time tonight, and God bless America.
We cover a lot of subjects, and we have a lot of information in 2 hours, and we appreciate your all's attention, and I hope you can absorb everything that we're giving you, take notes, and continue to make a difference. I want to introduce Dr. Gessling.
I forgot to tell you guys one of my most important pieces of medical advice, and that is, you probably all already know it. What do you think it is? Well, there's that.
Get those drugs and keep them in your house.
Yeah, well, deprescribe, get off of drugs. Yes. Oh, you're talking about ivermectin, hyperchloroquine. Yes, hydroxychloroquine. Yes. It is really important to have that on hand. We're not seeing Delta right now, which was the big bad one, and I haven't seen desaturation in a long time, in maybe 7 months. But it still can come back. But the thing that I feel like is the most important for your health is to get your vitamin D level up. You have to have it above the level of 55 to really have full benefit. The normal level is 30 on the labs. That doesn't get you where you need to be. And in fact, maybe 60, 70, 80. And if you didn't know it, vitamin D, having a high vitamin D level, will help prevent 50% of cancers that could develop. So it's important for your immune system, and your immune system is important to fight infection and cancer. And then when you take the D3, probably at least 5,000 units a day, you need to take it with 100 micrograms of K2. Vitamin K2. Some people think that there's like another, whatever that is. So vitamin K2. And so the reason you have to do that is because the D3 raises your calcium in your bloodstream. And you don't want that to deposit into plaques. You want it to go into your bone. So K2 is this magical thing, vitamin K2 is this magical thing that gets the calcium out of your bloodstream and puts it into bones. So it hardens bones and softens arteries. So when you take the D3, you gotta take it with K2, 100 micrograms of K2. And then, so some people actually need 10,000 units of D3 a day. So even if you're taking 5,000, sometimes it's not enough. The K2 helps with that absorption, but sometimes you need to go up, so get your levels checked. 60, 70, 80 is what I recommend. All right? All right. Thank you.
We do have one more speaker. Linda Rance. Linda is with the Missouri Election Watch Project, and she has a whole lot about the elections that are coming up, and she wants to educate us on that. And then we do have a couple of announcements at the end of the evening too, that a couple of friends that want to mention something. So, in fact, while they're getting ready, you want to say something?
Okay, who was here last month when we raised $8,000 for our police officers? Okay, well,
last month we supported our police officers, but this month, this coming Saturday, Resource Health has a fundraiser over the edge. And so I thought they have each team, and so for each team that raises $500, one person gets to rappel off the Overland Park Hotel. And I want to make sure that we have a team, we the people. Hey, if you want to rappel, go ahead. I'm not doing it. But if you want to. But I just want to, if you guys are interested, we helped our police officers, but not Resource Health. Restoration House is saving young women and young men who are being used as victims. You know, sex trafficking doesn't discriminate. And when we talk about all these other issues, this is just one of the issues. They're all intertwined. Our kids in school, all this stuff is intertwined. So if you feel led, and I also have some other events that are going on the next couple of weeks. I'll put them over the table. You guys can take a look at them for pro-life and all that. But I'm just going to send this yellow bowl. Don't confuse it with the bowl for the building. If you feel that led to give the money, let's try to raise $500 for We the People. And whoever does want to rappel off the side, we can get them a We the People. I was actually thinking about you all week. We can get a We the People like flag or a shirt, and let's let people know that We the People of Jackson County are actively involved in our community and that we care about those that are in our community. So, hey, I'm going to pass this around. No obligation. With this fancy shirt.
I will now rappel. I might rebel, but I will not repel.
And the Jenna Jazz thing, it's not August 15, 2020. It's this coming Friday. Same location, but it's just this Friday. So I'm going to put these events up here. All of these events help our children in some way or another, whether it's our unborn, to our teenagers, to just every group of our children. So
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Linda?
Thank you. Linda Rance, and I'm representing two groups tonight, Missouri Canvassers, a group of grassroots volunteers, some of them are right here, who canvassed over 5,000 addresses in the state since last November. We published a report in May. And also Cause of America Missouri, which is, Cause of America, if you've heard of it, is a Mike Lindell organization to bring together grassroots groups from around the country who all are working on election integrity issues. So that's kind of the background. So we're talking elections. So what we know about elections in Missouri, if we take what we're being told, I'm gonna try to stand back with that thing. Our Secretary of State in September of 2021 said that the idea of voter fraud that the GOP is putting forth is a myth, okay? A year later, August 1st, because of the new election law that was just signed, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft said Missourians can trust their elections to be safe, secure, and credible, okay? At the federal level, CISA, which stands for Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency, tasked with overseeing the security of our elections, came out and said in a joint statement, so a joint statement of experts and their administrators, that the November 3rd, go back to that, the November 3rd election was the most secure in history. Okay. Now, the election was November 3rd, and they came out and said that on November 12th. You might remember it, right? They came out and said, no, stop worrying about fraud. Okay, so they also said there is no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was in any way compromised. So that's what we're being told. So the question is, are you satisfied with that? Okay. Challenge is that what they say to us is there's nothing to see here. Now, you're about to see in 15 minutes a 1-hour presentation where I have a whole bunch of examples. You're not going to see a lot of them tonight. So, Craig, my husband, is over there, and he has a flyer, and the back of the flyer has web links to every single example that I give. I don't state anything up here and in the 1-hour presentation that you can't go and look up yourself. So So go and grab a flyer. There'll be some other stuff on the front. He also has a QR code on that lovely thing. So if you know how to QR code on your phones, just take a picture of it. You'll get the flyer on your phone and all the links will be clickable. You won't have to type them. So follow that information. So nothing to see here. I'll give you a couple examples. Well, we'll start with this. Rasmussen reports, Rasmussen polls, which are basically considered to be reputable, right? They came out July of this year that more than 50% of eligible voters, not of just GOP or anyone else, eligible voters feel there is going to be cheating in the upcoming midterms. Okay? Yeah. But CISA, remember this, November 3rd, the most secure election. Well, CISA came out again June of this year, 18 months later after that election. They came out with a report saying that there are vulnerabilities affecting Dominion voting systems because they finally did the investigation. Last November, or November of 2020, they did not investigate, right? They just said it. They said there were 9 vulnerabilities and there were 13 recommended mitigations. Okay, in our state, the Secretary of State has approved 8 manufacturers' machines to be used. So the county clerks get to choose what they use. About 24 of our counties are using Dominion. 80% of our counties are using Unison, which is considered to be bottom of the rung, worst machines out there. Nobody uses them except Missouri. And then we have a smattering of other stuff. So, but even so, with those Dominions, we did a sunshine request on the counties running Dominion machines and said, when you got this report, what did you do? What steps did you take to mitigate? Because one of the suggestions was further enhance defensive measures to reduce the risk of exploitation of these vulnerabilities. They were telling them what to do to physically protect those machines. And most of them wrote back and said, I asked my vendor and he said we were fine. So they did nothing because they don't really understand their machines any more than with these computers. When you're at home, how many of you get your computer and you're like, I'm just turning it off because the dang thing won't work, right? The machines are no different. They run Windows software. Okay, conduct rigorous post-election tabulation. None of them did it. Another thing, in Missouri, this is the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. This happened in Cole County. Election judges who were paying attention noticed when they were doing the closing procedure that the machine was double counting votes. Cole County, Unison Systems. That's not the only time it's happened here, but the only one I have time to tell you about. But it went to the Election Assistance Commission that looked at it, and they put these out because they approved the measure to look at it, and they call it an anomaly. It's always an anomaly, a coding error, a programming error, you name it. So, again, we say to our groups, are you satisfied? And we're not, right? Because we are the show me state. And we're tired of our people saying to us, our elected officials and our clerks, there's nothing to see here. It's not a problem. So what can you do? There have been a lot of suggestions tonight. A lot of people have said things, and I agree with all of them. But everyone sitting here, there's probably been a suggestion that you've heard and you've gone, I don't know if I can do that, right? Well, first, let's start by getting educated. Mike Lindell, in August, did a truth summit in Springfield, Missouri. No idea why he chose here, but he did. It was great. People came from all over the country, and they did just segment after segment after segment. On his site, frankspeech.com, he has taken 24 hours of conference and cut it into shorter videos, so you can watch each video individually. On this flyer, on the front half at the bottom, is a list of the videos I think you should watch if you did nothing else. They run from 8 minutes to 20 or 30 minutes. But go through and watch and learn. He's got a video with the guy who wrote the first algorithm in the early 2000s, the 5149 algorithm. It was written for a company, and they gave it to a congressman. He thought it was a test piece of software. Then the election was running. He's like, watching results going, they're running my algorithm. That's where the algorithm came from, and the proof is there. There's so much proof that you're not seeing. Okay, we have 35 days. 35 days to that election. So, vote, 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 okay? Day of, as late as you can. Don't early vote unless it's the only way you can vote. When you run into someone and they say, hey, how you doing? Look at them and say, God, I feel so great today. November 8th is just around the corner. I'm going to be voting, right? Everything's about the vote. Everything's about the election. Everybody has to be registered by October 12th. My husband and I are refugees from Washington State. Been here almost 2 years now. And we love every minute of it. And we brought our conservative values with us, just so you know. But nobody told us thank you very much. Nobody told us the deadline was coming up to register, so we missed the first election. We had not voted in a poll in almost 15 years. Everything in Washington State is mail only. So we had not seen the inside of a polling place. When we finally did vote, it was very exciting. Election day, November 8th, be a judge if you can, if you're not already. Election challengers, I don't know if they're big out here. I'm speaking at so many counties, and it's like the Republican Party has just decided there's nothing to challenge. They go, well, it's red, so we'll just let it go. It's in the statute. We need people. Every political party, major political party who has a candidate on the ballot can have one challenger in every precinct, every place there's voting, and one to count those absentee ballots when they're opened. It's so important, and it is the political parties who are supposed to submit the names of those challengers. Push your political party, volunteer. I want to do it. Get inside the door. This is the Trump rally 2 days ago. I don't know if you watched it, but that's Mike Lindell talking to RSBN, and he is talking about our Election Watch project. And I'm going to go through really quickly. Are we good? Yeah? Okay, I didn't see the clock, so I don't know where it's at, but 5? Oh, good. That's more than enough time. Okay, this is the form, and this is the project he's talking about. And then he talked about it on Bannon's War Room, anybody who watches that. The Gateway Pundit picked it up, if you read them, and this morning they put out an article called The 7 Steps You Can Take to Beat Fraud in the November election. And item number 7 is our project that you're about to learn about. It's amazing. Yeah, Missouri. They keep going, just talk to Missouri. So there you go. We're number 7, and it's called now they're not always calling it Election Watch Project. With Mike Lindell, you have to kind of give him the keywords he's going to be able to call off, top of his head. So it's divided into 3 categories: voter experience, polling place, and machine testing. And it's done that way so that anyone can do it. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to register. There's no app, right? You just have to get the forms. We have examples here, but it's easy to download. And what happens is that if you're a voter and you watch our 30-minute video, it tells you as a voter what to look for when you walk in the door to vote. What should be happening? And it has a list of things that are supposed to happen. And if they don't, you make a note of it. So let's say you walk in, you give them your ID card, and they go, you've already voted. Well, no, I didn't. I'm here right now. That's how they're doing the cheat with the machines, right? And then maybe they go, well, hang on, I'll call the supervisor. Oh, okay, yep, you're right, you didn't vote, go ahead and vote now. So you might think that's nothing. That's huge, right? Because if it happens to 99 other people that walked into your same precinct, it means the machines are stealing votes. And when you sign in on those electronic poll pads that are like instant attendance reports, they flip the vote out and put somebody else's name in. Those machines move faster than we can think. So the slightest thing that happens as a voter, you can report. And you just fill this out. There's another page where you write out the notes that go with it. So you just give us an explanation. You sign it, you send it in, and we're going to get people across the country doing this. Because we're always behind the game, right? Something goes wrong in the election, and we're like, we have to file a lawsuit. Okay, you've got 8 days to collect evidence. We can't do it, right? It's all, hey, did anybody see anything? So we're doing everything before, during, and after the election. Okay, so you've got those. Got the forms, I showed you those. You're going to download them. And then right here on this sheet, The top part under the big label at the front tells you about our project, and right above those big red words in the middle is the website link to our introduction video. 8 minutes, you'll hear me talk about it. We started it before the last primary, so we've been working on this. Okay, we had people do this during the primary. And then in that video, it has links to every training video, all the documents you need. Everything you need is there. My contact information is there and on this form. And what we can do is we can go and make a difference to be watching. There's so many other great ways to protect our election, but we all can't do all of them, right? So this may work for you. This may be the one that works. Sorry, running out of breath. Okay, causeofamerica.org if you're interested in joining. You can just sign up and you'll see us start printing news and information. We have a Missouri dashboard. And then there's that QR code if you want to take, if you can see it from your seat for this form, if you want to take a picture, but we do have flyers over there for those who like printed paper, and there's my contact information. Let me know what you need, and we're just going to help protect Missouri's elections.
We had a lot of information tonight, didn't we? Still have one more. My friend Jerry Ellis wants to say a word or two. Jerry started We the People down in Johnson County, Warrensburg, and they meet the third Tuesday. Third Monday. Golly. Forget what I said for the last minute or so. Jerry, go ahead and tell him.
Well, Chuck has been a great mentor and actually been down to, he knows what a poor farm looks like now. He's been in my kitchen having coffee. And so my beautiful wife, Rachel, Darren, we do what we can to help educate people in Johnson County. And we're the poor Johnson County, not the one to the west of the line. We've had great speakers. Rachel has been to our meeting. Rachel, wherever you went, there you are. These two guys up here gave us a great meeting on conceal and carry. Melinda back there has been down. She knows the way now. Thank you, Melinda. But what I'm here to promote is our meeting coming up then on October 17th. I think a lot of people have probably seen that big B-2 bomber. Has anybody had a good chance to get up and close and personal with that? Good for you. I've been in the cockpit of that thing and it is not comfortable. But I digress. The reason that I am excited about this meeting is because there is a certain lieutenant colonel who just retired because he is being forced out of the Air Force. He wants to speak. He's been wanting to speak at our meeting for a long time, but he had to wait till he retired. And he just retired here September 30th. We're going to have him at our meeting, and he wants to talk everywhere from the Pentagon down to Whiteman Air Force Base. And it's going to be exciting. And he's going to answer questions. So we're very excited, and we hope that you all, if you want to, please feel invited. It's 7 o'clock, October 17th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, which is just west of Warrensburg on 50 Highway. Love to see you there, but we think it's going to be something special.
Thank you, Jerry. Jerry and Rachel are good friends of mine. Thank you for being up here, and I appreciate you all. Melinda, you got a word?
Not really a word, but I want to introduce my colleague who's here with me. Her name is Chris Schill. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, sure.
Chris is with the Tom Renz Law Firm. She's the Missouri representative of Tom Renz. And she has worked with a case where a child, a 10-year-old child, has been medically kidnapped at Children's Hospital. And has gotten medical attention. And I've actually started to help her. So we just wanted to make you all aware of what's going on. And I think Chris is welcome back next month.
Yeah, she'll speak in November.
To talk in more detail about what's going on.
Yeah, her name is Evelyn Young. She's still at Children's Mercy at this time. And the bottom line is parents who wanted to do holistic medicine did not want the pharmaceutical drugs that the doctors were pushing, were then hotlines to Jackson County, Missouri, because they were accused of medical neglect for their daughter. The doctors then prescribed her those drugs, and she had some horrible adverse reactions. She went blind, her brain swelled, and so she is still recovering from that. They have a website called SaveEvelyn.com if you'd like to go find out more information about it. But at this point, we just kind of want everyone that we can spread the word, because they are being contacted by multiple families that have said they've gone through the exact same thing at that hospital.
And so what happened, yeah, they have a bad reputation. So what happened is that the doctor, so Evelyn had been in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and even though parents did not agree with the treatment that was being recommended, the doctors are kind of going back and forth, right? Then one doctor came in on a weekend, got pretty much pissed off at the parents, okay? And because of that personality conflict, that doctor filled out a form. That form that basically alleged, hey, I see, now this is a doctor, this is not a social worker or anyone with special expertise. Doctor signs the form. We believe there's medical abuse and neglect. The form gets shipped over to the Jackson County Family Court, and a judge signed a temporary order for the state of Missouri to take custody, temporary custody of this child. So right now, the parents do not have custody of the child.
Who's the judge? Are they on the ballot this time?
It's a new one. They're, family court commissioner, I don't even know. They're appointed, but we vote for retention in Jackson County, and so we will start with the voter's guide too. But she's brand new, and what they do is they rubber stamp. The family court in particular is really, really bad. They rubber stamp anything that DFS or these doctors at Children's Mercy, they just rubber stamp decisions. The hearings aren't being held. We showed up, no one asked questions about what was going on, just a rubber stamp. And all of a sudden, you don't have custody of your child.
What was that website again? SaveEvelyn.com if y'all want to learn about it. And we look for you to speak and update us in November. Donna.
Just real quick, I did email out the business list. If you have a business that is not on the People business list, make sure to put some cards in the binder and make sure I get one. I will send out an updated one. I also got the doctor's card, and I will include that in the next one as well.
I made 50 copies of the Book of Business. I made 50 copies. You're more than welcome to take one. And that way it tells you all the people that have businesses that we can help one another.
I got an email with all those on it.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Yeah, we emailed it too. Absolutely. We're just trying to help one another.
Take a sign.
Be sure to grab a sign on the way out, throw a few bucks in one of the 2 bowls. And we love you. Thank you for being here.